Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome back to Third Wave Trades. Today I got a video for you guys on Upstart Holdings, ticker symbol UPST. This is a stock that I think could make a really explosive move very soon, so I wanted to bring it to your guys' attention. All right, so we'll get into the video, but first, if you guys could just do me this huge favor, if you guys find the content useful, helpful, or entertaining, please go ahead and hit that like button down below. If you guys are new here, consider subscribing to the channel. And then secondly, guys, just a quick disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Please do your own due diligence and research and or consult with a financial advisor before making any trading or investment decisions. All right, guys, so I'm going to try to keep this video short, but I'm going to talk about a lot. So the first thing I want to talk about is the 30-week moving average, right? So obviously this is Upstart. You guys can see back in 2021, when the market was really rallying, Upstart made this huge explosive move to $400. It only IPO'd, I think, back in 2020. Yeah, December 2020. And basically in less than a year, it ran up from $24 to $400, right? Then obviously we've had this long downwards correction. So I think that it can make a similar move like this again, maybe within a year's time, 2 years' time. I'm not really sure, but I know that this stock is something that can really run up very fast. So that's why I think that what I see based off of the technicals, a similar type of move is coming. Right now, again, keep in mind this took a year, so I'm not saying that this is going to happen overnight or within the next week, but I think you'll start to see the beginning of a strong rally. And right now it's trading at $27, so it's pretty. It's a pretty good price right now if this is going to make a similar type of move, like running up to $400. So the first thing I want to show you guys here is this 30-week moving average, right, which is the yellow line. As you guys can see, we are basically consolidating under that 30-week moving average, and we look like we're about to break above it, right? So why is that important? That's important because of, if you guys are familiar with stage analysis, that is basically your indication of a stage 1 breakout that is likely coming, right? So just to quickly show you guys what that looks like. All right, so this is Stan Weinstein's stage analysis, right? Essentially saying that the market moves in 4 stages. You have your stage 1, which is essentially a consolidation period of what we would also call accumulation, right under the 30-week moving average. In this case, this blue line in this image. Once you break above that 30-week moving average, that's when you're looking to get into this stage 2, which is your uptrend, the beginning of your strong rally. Stage 3, you have a consolidation in the form of a distribution right above the 30-week moving average, and then stage 4, you break below it, and that's when you have your downtrend, right? So essentially, Stan Weinstein says that the market moves in those 4 stages, which is essentially stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4, and then the process repeats, right? So if we take a look at where Upstart is right now, you can see we're pretty much in that stage 1. I have this drawn up for you guys right here. All right, so this is, again, the weekly time frame, and the yellow line is our 30-week moving average. You guys can see it had a strong week last week. Basically went from $22 to roughly $27, and we are basically accumulating right under that 30-week moving average. So essentially what I'm looking for now is just going to be a strong break above this 30-week moving average, right? And I want to see that happen with increase in volume this week, right, compared to last week. And the other thing I want to see happen is this indicator right here, which is the Mansfield Relative Strength Index. This is our 0 line, right? So along with a break above the 30-week moving average in price on this indicator, I want to see a break above this 0 line in the Mansfield Relative Strength Index, right? Along with, like I mentioned, strong volume. So those 3 things would basically tell me that we are now in a stage 2 when it comes to stage analysis, right? So essentially we are in an uptrend. So that's something that I think we are going to see this week. Again, you don't want to pull the trigger before you see it, but keep an eye out for it. Again, a strong move in price action, followed with strong volume, and followed by a break in the Mansfield Relative Strength Index, right? So that would basically let me know that we're beginning that uptrend, right? This weekly uptrend, which could last a while. You can see over here we did a similar move, right? Back in this was last year, back in January to May of 2023. Same thing, consolidated right under that 30-week moving average, and then we got a break above it, right? With strong volume. And if we go and check our Mansfield Relative Strength Index, same thing, right? Down here, you guys can see we got that break above the zero line. So all three checked out, right? And we had a pretty strong rally from $11 all the way up to $72. All right, so that's the type of move that this stock could make. And if we see how long it took for it to make that move, this was in May of 2023 to July. So June, July, roughly 3 months. And so in 3 months, it went from $11 to $72, right? Again, something similar could be happening right now, although this time I think it is going to be even stronger. And the reason why I think that is based off of the wave count. But we'll get to the wave count in a second. I want to kind of like hammer home this point about this being a breakout from an accumulation phase. And so we already saw it on the stage analysis. The next thing I want to show you guys is the from the Wyckoff accumulation schematic, right? So which is just basically another form of saying the same thing, right? So again, here we can actually go on a lower time frame now. Let's go to a 1-day time frame, and you guys know I'm big on Wyckoff. So this is where we stand, like zoomed in a little bit more into that accumulation. I'll take off the 30-week moving average because we don't need that right now. So essentially, you can see. Actually, let's go on a lower time frame. Let's go to 4 hours. All right. So basically, in this accumulation range where we stand right now, we had our selling climax right around here. We had an automatic rally. This creates our channel. Secondary test, sign of weakness, this up thrust move. Before the up thrust move, actually, we kind of had this spring, and I labeled it with a question mark. We did come pretty low underneath the channel, but right after that, it was followed by this up thrust move, and that could have been a good fake out right there, because if this was the spring and we're saying that this is phase C, this would have been our phase D right here, and we would expect some kind of consolidation up here before we would start pushing higher. But instead, we came back into the channel. So it's got to be careful when you're playing these moves. You want to make sure that you get a break and a retest before you decide to take a position. But so we came back into the channel, and again got this other test one more time at the bottom of the channel, and now we're pushing higher again. So from a Wyckoff standpoint, what I would like to see is, again, us break this channel and then hold above it and then push higher. Now, if we break above it again and then we come lower back into the channel one more time, then we're looking at possibly what we call a UTAD or a UTAD, which is essentially an up thrust after distribution, and that would probably mean that we're actually going to be pushing lower. But I don't see that happening based off of a couple of other points, such as again the wave count and where we are in the wave count, and again, like I said, the fact that we're close to that breaking out of that 30-week moving average. So I'm using all these different factors to try to come up with a decision. But essentially on the Wyckoff schematic, I would like to see it break above this level, roughly around $29, hold, and then push higher. And this is kind of like where I would take a long position at, right? I just want to add this as well. So this is our fixed range volume, And you guys can see that from this is our volume average high, this red line, volume average low, screen line, and this is our PLC, our point of control. So we are above the point of control. We are basically here at this last high volume node, and if we get above, before even this break of 29, that would be a safe conservative entry. But even just pushing above this 2785, we'll call it 2785, I think you will see a strong rally start, right? You can see on this up move right here, volume increasing, right? On all of our up moves, we have high volume, right? And on the down moves, you have lower volume, right? So that kind of is an indication right there of what potentially is going to play out, right? Which is basically a break above this accumulation channel and then beginning of the rally higher, right? So again, just to kind of recap, a break above 27.85 or more conservatively $29 and a hold around that range should see us push higher in a strong uptrend move. In the stage analysis standpoint, we would like to see on the weekly time frame a break above that 30-week moving average, a hold, accompanied with strong volume as well. All right, so that's basically, again, just hammering home the point of us being in this accumulation channel and a potential breakout coming. And again, if we break out, you guys know from accumulation, from seeing my other videos, once you get that breakout in phase D and you consolidate, phase E then is where the uptrend really starts to take off and you have a massive uptrend move, right? So again, that kind of basically aligns in two forms of analysis, right? So from stage analysis and then also from the Wyckoff accumulation schematic. So all right, so then the last thing then to do would be to sort of analyze this move now in terms of how high we think this this uptrend could go if we do potentially get that breakout, right? So the way I would like to look at that, again, as you guys know, is from the wave count, right? So let's go back then to let's just go back to the weekly time frame for now, so I can show you guys this in the bigger picture of things, right? So again, this is our now back to our weekly time frame, and if I show you guys the wave count that I have for it, it essentially looks something like this. So this move back from our 2021 highs at $400 was our first wave. We had our second wave all the way back down to roughly $10, and that would basically be our point of invalidation. If at any point we break lower than $10, then this whole wave count is off the table. But essentially the second move that we had after hitting those lows and pushing up to $72 last year, that would have been our first wave of our third wave, right? So essentially we would basically be looking at this being our first wave, second wave, right? So 1 2 1 2 again, and then we should get this third, fourth, and then our fifth, right? And then this would basically form the first wave, right, on a larger standpoint of our third wave. So that would be our first wave, then probably get one more pullback for a second wave of our third, and then somewhere over here, right, in this range is where you would really want to go long, because that's when you would get the massive third move. All right, so hopefully that's pretty clear. I don't want to go too much into the wave count just yet, because I want to confirm that we actually get the breakout. But again, if we get that break on this weekly time frame above our 30-week moving average, right, this yellow line right here, accompanied with high volume, and that break above the zero line on the Mansfield Relative Strength Index, I'm fairly confident this is what will play out, right? At that point, like I said, we will basically be in phase E, of the accumulation schematic. We'll be in stage 2 of our stage analysis, which is all an uptrend, and then that uptrend we could analyze using this Elliott wave count. So essentially we would be in a 1 2 1 2, and then this would be our third wave move, and that would be a very strong move in my opinion. Again, possibly seeing, I mean, these are arbitrarily just drawn here just for illustrative purposes, but at the very least we could probably say the move could go to this 161.8% extension of this first wave right here, and that would basically lead us to roughly $115 to $120. Again, the time frame is not next week. It's probably 2, 3, 4, maybe 6 months down the line. But again, that breakout above that 30-week moving average, and I think this is what you will see in the coming months, a push higher to roughly that $120 range. So I wouldn't go and play options on it necessarily, but the price is low enough where a nice size of shares right here, and you're looking at a very, very strong move, right? And some nice gains right there. Not financial advice, just telling you guys what I think. So hopefully that video was helpful to you guys, useful. If you guys are paying attention to Upstart, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. If you guys like the video, please do me a favor, hit the like button down below. If you guys are new to the channel, please subscribe to get similar content like this. Hit the bell notification icon to get all my video updates, and I will be back with more. Peace.